Okay, welcome back. Right, now this little science project began about 3 weeks ago. But before I open this up and show you, let's show you what it looked like before we started. Right, it all began with this wonderful old piece of antique chain given to me by a kindly neighbour, and it was attached to the back of his 1930s tractor that he got as a barn find. As you can see, it's heavily rusted, deeply worn, that links almost all the way through at both ends, and I need to get all this rust off in a proper way so I can weld it for a coming project. But you can't get the rust off by rubbing it with grinders because you'll never get in all those corners. So I'm going to use the old housewife's method of a little bit of simple chemistry. Household chemistry or kitchen chemistry, call it what you like. So get yourself down the supermarket and grab a bottle of distilled white vinegar. 30 pence for this 1 pint bottle. Use a little Tupperware or something. These again cost about 20p in the supermarket. And get enough in there to cover up the chain completely so there's none of it whatsoever exposed to the air. And of course this works for tools as well, bolts, fasteners, nails, anything that's made of metal that's gone rusty. Completely get it over the top, covered and fully submerged. We'll put the lid on, make sure that there's a little bit of an air gap as you can see because it will gas and give off fumes. You don't want it popping off and bursting later on. And then just set it to one side so you can come back to it later. Okay. You saw that. Now after 3 weeks of that steeping in the distilled vinegar, I think you know that. I think there's nobody who doesn't know about taking rust off of vinegar, but this was a project I had to get involved in, so here we are, Pen.
Let's have a look.
There we go. That's after
gross.
3 weeks. That is what's happened. It's quite amazing when you look at that. It's quite incredible that that's got a skin, like a black skin on top of it, which I can only assume is iron, maybe oxidized iron. That's all the rust. The yellow stuff, there was kind of yellow in the pits of the rust right down. I don't know what that chain had ever had rubbed into it or conditioned into it. Perhaps it had been heat treated, perhaps it had been oil burned. I don't know. Like I said, that chain was something like 90 years old, perhaps almost. So who knows what had kept it from rusting away to nothing over all those decades. But that, wherever that was, is all there on that surface. And if you could smell this, I'm going to stand up. Absolutely stink. And if you want to weld anything like that, you can't weld through rust. It won't make a sound weld, so you have to get it off. And in something like the chain there, you absolutely could never get a grinder into all those little corners, like I said. So this is the only way, chemically. So let's get it out of here and see what it looks like. I just don't even want to put the tools in. Let's get a stick. Here we go. Let's just get that aside a little bit. That's on in this pen. There we go. You've got the end. Right, I'm just going to bung it straight in a bucket of water and start washing it off. As you can see in there, Pen, it's just half full of water. My word, look at that. Can you see it? Incredible. Straight away, it's just gone to that naked bare iron colour, just dark grey. Simple. There we go. Awesome. Pop that on there. Another bucket here with completely clean water in it again. Wow, look at that. Absolutely, completely rust free. Totally rust free. It's even got kind of a rough feel to it, where it's gone into the metal a little bit. I definitely think probably 3 weeks was a bit long. You can use molasses for this, not the black stuff you spread on your toast, but the proper chemical molasses that you get in gallon tubs. You can use that. That takes 3-4 weeks. That's great for removing rust. But vinegar does the same job. I think it's just a little bit more aggressive. As you saw, there it is, just distilled white vinegar. Absolutely simple. Now it's going to dry this off. I'm going to put that in with waste oil and get rid of it down at the waste oil place. But it is interesting that this stuff on the top, it doesn't look very nice, it's a bit disgusting, but all this is what was on the chain. So as you can see, there's no way that rubbing that off with a grinder or a disc or abrasives of any kind would have got that much off of this job. I'm going to put that on there, and that will go with the waste oil to the waste oil plant, because there's no way that can go in the drain. That's absolutely noxious. Let's get this oil off. Right, now I've got to store this, bit of WD-40, I've got to store this up now, probably for a couple of weeks till I can get to the project, so I'm just going to coat it up with that, and that will not rust, because obviously that being completely stripped back bare iron, that will rust in a matter of hours. So get some WD on it, seal it in a little Tupperware box, and that'll be absolutely fine till I need it. When I come to weld it, obviously the WD-40's got to come off, but that's just a little bit of brake and carb cleaner. Spray that on, that will get it back to bare, dry metal, absolutely every single time. So there we are, kind of an old grandpa trick sort of thing. I think there's millions of videos on the net about this, how to remove rust using vinegar and molasses and all that sort of thing, but I just wanted to make that clear that I'm doing that 2 or 3 weeks ahead. That was the result, that disgusting mess as you saw, and it really, really works. And okay, chain projects and that sort of thing, maybe you're not going to do that, but certainly tools, old tools. This pair of pliers I was given by my grandpa something like probably 40 years ago, I imagine, and I treasure them and value them. They've got a nice brown patina on because I oil treated them years ago, and I keep doing that. If you've got old rusty tools anywhere, that's exactly the same process. Even if they're rusted solid, you get an old pair of garden shears that won't move because they're a solid piece of rust, chuck them in a bath of this. I mean, that's 30 pence a pint, don't cost much. Go and get a gallon of it, whack it in a bucket, leave it in there for 3 or 4 weeks. When you get it out, it'll be like that, grey, pure, clean iron. You can get some oil on it and start moving again. It's really, really simple, something you can refurbish and restore stuff for pennies. Do you see what I did there?
I did.
There you go. Anything else, babe?
Hope it helps.
Hope it helps. Thank you for watching. Take it easy, ride safe. See you next time.